Live from New Delhi, you're watching the India News Hour, India's voice to the world, with me, Deepika, coming up in the next 1 hour. Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, says country is open to energy relations where all parties benefit. Senior official in Yemen's main separatist group hails productive Saudi talks, says we affirm our full support and confidence in Saudi Arabia. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar participates in first India-Weimar format meeting, says India and Europe have tremendous unrealized potential and many new areas to explore. And in sports, Australia retains the earned by 11 days as they complete a comprehensive 4-1 victory over England at the Ashes. Good afternoon to all the viewers joining us at this afternoon broadcast. To begin with the latest. Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, said on Wednesday that her country is open to energy partnerships with other nations, emphasizing that the South American country possesses some of the world's largest oil and gas reserves. Rodriguez made the remarks during a meeting with the members of the National Assembly in Caracas, saying the country is willing to establish respectful relations through commercial agreements that comply with international law.
Venezuela is open to energy relations where all parties benefit, where economic cooperation is very well determined in commercial contracts. That is our position and the diversity of our energy relations.
In a major announcement, US President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that Venezuela would now purchase only American-made products with the money they receive from the new oil deal. Trump will meet American oil executives on Friday to discuss plans for Venezuela's oil sector, days after a raid that toppled the country's leader. Here's more.
The United States on Wednesday laid out an energy deal with Venezuela, saying it will partially roll back sanctions to allow the sale of oil products from the country. The details were shared in a Department of Energy fact sheet. White House said that energy deal will benefit both the American people and the Venezuelans.
This was a deal made by the president and his team with the Venezuelan interim authorities. This will benefit both the American people and the Venezuelan people. And Secretary Wright and the Department of Energy are working with the interim authorities and also with the private oil industry to execute on this historic energy deal. That's not only good for the United States, but it's also going to revive the prosperity, the safety, the security of both the United States and Venezuela as well.
US President Trump had earlier announced that the interim leaders have agreed to US-managed marketing of 30 to 50 million barrels of crude, repeatedly adding that his country will run Venezuela despite having no forces on the ground. Trump also said on social media that Venezuela will be buying only US-made products with the money they receive from the deal. Meanwhile, US seized two Venezuela-linked oil tankers in the Atlantic Ocean on Wednesday, one sailing under Russia's flag. The Marinera, formerly known as Bella 1, was empty of oil, but the US says it and M. Sofia belonged to a shadow fleet of tankers used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. The American operation was supported by Britain's Royal Air Force and one of its military vessels. Moscow has denounced the seizure of the tanker sailing under its flag and demanded that US treat Russians aboard properly and permits them to return to Russia quickly. Anamika Pandey for DD India.
Now let's understand more on this, and to give you a rounded perspective, I'm joined by Dr. Rajan Kumar from School of International Studies. Good afternoon, Dr. Kumar. Thank you so much for joining us at this afternoon broadcast. Well, Venezuela's acting president, Rodriguez, says the country is open to energy relations where all parties benefit. Now, this comes as a very huge statement, clearing the air on any sort of pressure that the acting president has denied time and again. How do you look at this development and this statement particularly?
I think, Deepaji, first, thank you for having me here. This is completely unprecedented. It has not happened in the past that a country attacks United States, or a powerful country attacks another country, captures the leader, and now United States is forcing Venezuela to sell the oil only to United States first, and also to buy products only from United States. So what do I call it? This is very similar to what we have seen in the past. What you call it, imperialism, colonialism, or whatever. So it's a kind of complete control of Venezuelan resources. As you know, Venezuela is one of the it has the largest reserve in the world of oil, and also it has other minerals, rare earth material, which is very essential for batteries, etc. What we are witnessing at the moment is the Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State of United States. He says that he has a three-stage plan for Venezuela. The first stage essentially is political stability and oil control. US is expecting that it will get approximately 30 to 50 million barrels of oil, which it will sell at the market price to other countries, or for its domestic market. And then the money would be shared by United States and Venezuela. And Trump says that it will be shared by the people of Venezuela and United States. Why should United States be taking the money of Venezuela? We don't really know. But yes, that's the deal. That's the first stage of the plan, which Marco Rubio announced. And this oil deal is essentially, it's not a deal, because in deal you have market players and you negotiate, you bargain. This essentially is a food for oil kind of program, where United States is saying that you can you can sell your oil to United States and buy food products or necessary technology, medicine, etc. From United States. So it's a total control of Venezuela. That's what United States is planning. So that is the first stage of Marco Rubio's the political stabilization program, which he says he has three phases. In the second phase, Marco Rubio said that it would be about what he calls a national stability program. Again, it's a very vague and ambiguous kind of thing at the moment. But it says that probably in that stage, he would consider replacing the regime also. And in the third stage, he said that the civil society, strengthening of civil society would take place in Venezuela, and after that, probably in that phase, he's thinking of election. So America and the Trump administration has a long-term plan to control Venezuela politically and also its economy and resources. So that's what we're seeing at this moment, but this is not a deal. It's essentially a forced kind of program which is being imposed on Venezuelan government. And he also said that till the time Rodriguez, the present president of Venezuela, till the time she is cooperating with the United States, he may not consider replacing very soon or bringing a new leader at the moment.
Also, Dr. Kumar, now with Venezuela's currency already suffering, can this trade deal help in boosting the economy, or is there something else to it?
I think it will take a very long time for Venezuela to develop its economy or the resources, because if you talk to most of the experts who are into the oil industry or mineral industry, they say that it will take at least 3 to 7 years to develop a oil industry there, because the infrastructure in Venezuela is very poor at the moment. And also, let me tell you, Trump is not going to be there in the United States forever. So many of the investors, especially the oil companies, corporate, etc., they fear that this uncertainty is not good, because they'll be investing a lot of money in Venezuela and they'll expect at least 15 to 20 years of cooperation from that country. But Trump is there only for the next 4 years. If some changes happen in Venezuela, or if the policy of United States change vis-a-vis Venezuela, then it will be very difficult for even the companies which are investing. American companies, essentially, they are talking with the shale oil to invest, but also Trump has said that he'll also invite other oil companies to invest in Venezuela. But given the political and economic uncertainty, the poor infrastructure, and also Venezuela is not a very is not a state where the law is very strong. There are several gangs operating in different parts of Venezuela. Under that uncertainty, many of the investors, unless they are also forced by Trump administration that you have to go and invest, I don't think many of the companies would be willing to invest a huge amount of money. So without that investment, we should not not expect too much of economic development at this point of time. And so far the deal, Venezuelan currency is in bad shape. It was also earlier in the bad shape, and Venezuelan currency would not be accepted by most of the countries in the world. So essentially the deal which would be taking place, the deal would be in terms of dollar. So essentially for some time dollar would be a currency which would be used by Venezuela to export its oil to United States.
Talking about investments here, Dr. Kumar, Trump is also scheduled to meet with the heads of major oil companies on Friday, where the heads are seeking serious guarantees from Washington before they make any large investment in Venezuela. Now, this seems like a two-way process trade deal as well, if it happens and if it comes out to be a successful one. What could be the expected outcome from this meeting?
I think the major reason why Trump is kind of eluding the oil company, because Trump is saying that Venezuela has the largest reserve. And if Trump can somehow convince and ensure that political stability would remain and the regime in Venezuela would remain pro-Washington for a longer time, not just for during the Trump administration, but for a longer time, so that will attract a lot of oil companies in the United States and also other Western companies. Now, China is ruled out, Russian companies are ruled out, so essentially it would be US companies, but maybe at a later stage he can also open it for British Oil or some other companies of Europe. So for the time being, I think it's a way to convince the oil companies that you go and invest. Trump would guarantee political stability. Trump would guarantee security of the people, security of the companies which invest in Venezuela, and pushing some of the companies to show that US has begun extracting oil from there. So essentially, it's a convincing and some kind of pressure to the oil companies, which will go from Trump to these companies to invest in Venezuela. But again, as I said, it will take a long time. It takes 3 to 7 years for the actual oil to be extracted. And also, let me tell you that Venezuelan oil is considered to be heavy oil. Transporting is a challenge, and also refining is a challenge. And not many countries have those kind of refineries, but US certainly has it. So that will be exported to US, and after refining, the US will try to export it to other countries. So those are the issues which will be discussed at this moment. And of course, this will also impact the pricing of oil in the world over. And there is one more issue, Deepika ji, which I would like to raise here, because price of oil at this crude oil, I'm saying, at this moment is approximately 60 per barrel. And that is not very attractive for many of the companies, because when the price was 70 and above, so it became very attractive investment for the oil companies. But if the price is not very high, and then you have the refinery cost, transport cost, and political uncertainty cost. So under those circumstances, many of the companies will not be forthcoming to invest immediately.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Arjun Kumar, for joining us and giving us that detailed analysis of the ongoing situation when we talk about the energy relations between Venezuela and the United States. We are heading for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar.
It fits perfectly.
Thank you. Full workout ho gaya. Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome to DD India, where a billion voices unite, connecting viewers to the stories that matter. India is not just another news channel. It's the international channel that puts the spotlight on the global south, bringing you stories from the heart of emerging economies, dynamic cultures, and transformative voices. As the international news channel of India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati, DD India delivers high-quality content from every corner of the globe, focusing on the stories that shape our future. We don't just report news. We connect you to India's voice in the global narrative. From current affairs to culture, from economic growth to sustainable development, and the ever-evolving world order, DD India gives you a comprehensive view of the world around us. Stay connected. Stay informed and embrace the stories that shape our lives. DD India. India's voice to the world.
Welcome to Manipur, a state that's waiting to enchant you with the jewels of nature.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. US Army Reserve soldiers were mobilized in Puerto Rico on Wednesday as part of large-scale military readiness activities at Fort Buchanan and other bases amid heightened US military presence in the Caribbean. The operation involving US Special Forces has drawn international debate over its legality and regional impact. US military activity in Puerto Rico and the wider Caribbean continues as part of broader strategic posture under Operation Southern Spear, though officials frame it as an exercise and readiness training. US President Donald Trump has reignited calls for US control over Greenland. Tensions are soaring even as US Secretary of State Marco Rubio plans talks with Denmark. European leaders have warned that any forceful move could shatter the NATO unity. Here's more.
US President Donald Trump doubled down on his push for US control of Greenland, framing it as vital for American security against Chinese and Russian Arctic advances. He stressed control over the world's largest island to secure North Atlantic routes against rivals with advanced capabilities. Tensions spiked further with Denmark and NATO allies issuing stark warnings. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio plans talks with Denmark, but even before the talks, Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen insisted that Greenland is not for sale, rejecting threats and highlighting existing US-based access. Germany has reiterated that island's future is a matter for its people and Denmark to decide. France has demanded an end to intimidations. Poland has urged clarity from the US Congress on territorial matters, a view echoed by EU Council President Antonio Costa.
On Greenland, allow me to be clear. Greenland belongs to its people. Nothing can be decided about Denmark and about Greenland without Denmark or without Greenland. They have the full support and solidarity of the European Union. Europe will remain a firm and unwavering champion of international law and multilateralism.
Greenland is the world's largest island, but with a population of just 57,000 people, it is not an independent member of NATO, but is covered by Denmark's membership of the Western Alliance, and that makes any US takeover a potential Article 5 violation. White House statements have further kept the issue firmly in the headlines.
Well, that's something that's currently being actively discussed by the president and his national security team. And I would point out that the acquisition of Greenland by the United States is not a new idea. This is something that presidents dating back to the 1800s have said is advantageous for America's national security. The president has been very open and clear with all of you and with the world that he views it in the best interest of the United States to deter Russian and Chinese aggression in the Arctic region. And so that's why his team is currently talking about what a potential purchase would look like.
Trump tried to soothe the frayed nerves as he assured on Truth Social that America will always back NATO. Critics say a forced takeover could invoke Article 5, shattering the pact Denmark anchors via Greenland. Locals prioritize self-determination, and with Rubio's visit looming, eyes are on whether talks diffuse this flashpoint or ignite a transatlantic rift. Bureau Report, DD India.
A US immigration officer shot and killed an American woman on a Minneapolis street on Wednesday amid an immigration enforcement search. Immigration and Customs Enforcement stated that the women attempted to ram the agents with her car, but Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Tim Walz have publicly disputed that account. Let's take a look at this report for more.
U.S. immigration agent shot and killed a 37-year-old woman in her car in Minneapolis on Wednesday amid an immigration enforcement surge. A widely shared video of the incident shows a Honda SUV apparently blocking unmarked law enforcement vehicles as they attempt to drive down a snow-covered street. The driver, named Renee Nicole Good, attempted to drive off as the officers approached and tried to open her door, with one agent firing 3 times handgun as the vehicle pulled away. U.S. authorities stated that the women allegedly sought to ram immigration and customs enforcement officers with the vehicle. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem defended the ICE officer, calling the women's action a domestic act of terrorism.
ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism. The ICE officer, fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training to save his own life and that of his colleagues. He was treated at a local hospital, has been released, and is now with family.
U.S. President Donald Trump also said the Minneapolis shooting appeared to be an act of self-defense, claiming the women aggressively resisted the officers and deliberately ran over an ICE agent, prompting the officer to shoot her. Democrats who govern Minnesota are up in arms against the Trump administration. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey dismissed the government's claim and urged ICE officers to leave the city during a second day of mass immigration raids.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
Democratic Governor Tim Walz placed the blame for the shooting on the Trump administration.
We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary.
The shooting drew hundreds of protesters into the frigid streets near the scene, some of whom were met by heavily armed federal agents wearing gas masks who fired chemical irritants. ICE's federal agents have been at the forefront of the Trump administration's immigration deportation drive, despite the objections of local officials. Bureau Report, DD India.
At least 2 people have been killed and several others injured in a shooting outside a church during a funeral in U.S. state Utah's capital, Salt Lake City, on Wednesday. The incident occurred in the parking lot of a chapel where gunfire erupted after a reported altercation. Police said at least 8 people were struck, with 2 later succumbing to their injuries, while 3 others remain in critical condition. Authorities have launched a manhunt for the suspects, describing the situation as fluid, while the FBI said it is assisting local law enforcement in the investigation process. A senior leader linked with Bangladesh Nationalist Party was shot dead, while another man was injured in an attack in Dhaka on Wednesday night. The victim, identified as Azizur Rahman Musabbir, was the former General Secretary of the Dhaka Metropolitan North Unit of the Swechhasepok Dal, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party's volunteer wing. The attack triggered protests in the area, resulting in a heightened security presence in the Tejgaon neighborhood of Dhaka. The police has sealed off the area as CCTV footage is being reviewed amid the ongoing investigation. And to get you more on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Naval Singh Parmar from Dhaka. Good afternoon, Naval Singh. What is the latest that you're tracking on the latest killing?
Yesterday night there was a incident in Tezgaon area of Dhaka where BNP affiliated organization Swachh Dal senior leader was shot dead, and another person who was with him was also assaulted, and he's undergoing treatment in Dhaka Medical College. This kind of incident are very frequently happen in Bangladesh, particularly in Dhaka and other parts of the country. Yesterday there were news of similar kind of thing, similar kind of attack or lynching or kind of killing of the person in Bangladesh in 2 to 3 other cities of Bangladesh. So law and order situation here in Bangladesh is very serious concern and in pathetic condition. At the same time, the election-related violence, this is the election-related, it seems that it is election-related violence, and election is due in February 12th this year. This kind of incidents have been increased. And the second thing, this kind of attempt and this kind of incident on minority communities also, as we have reported on many occasions, that in last 1 month, 6 to 7 people have been killed, including in the savage attack on Dipu Das Munshi like this. So law and order as well as the violence related to election and other issues are also there, but the main concern here in Bangladesh is nowadays safety and security of the people, and the Yunus administration, which is not in a position to control, or either it is not willing to do things in better way. That is the reason things are going out of control in some of the areas. In countryside, in a small district and small town, the situation is out of control. Police is having no control, no preventive actions, and people need to safeguard their lives and property themselves. There is no state protection, state-sponsored protection in the country. This is the scenario.
All right, thank you so much for getting us the latest straight from Dhaka, Naval Singh. Moving on. A senior official in Yemen's main separatist group, who is part of a delegation in Riyadh, Mohammed Al-Ghaiti, on Thursday said the talks with Saudi Arabia were productive as tension now rises between the kingdom and the United Arab Emirates with regards to Yemen, and affirmed their full support and confidence in Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, the Saudi-led coalition in Yemen said the head of Yemen's southern separatists, Aidarus al-Zubaydi, left for Somaliland aboard a vessel and then boarded a plane to Somalia's Mogadishu. In Australia, Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced on Thursday that the government will establish a nation's most powerful form of public inquiry, which is the Royal Commission inquiry into the Bondi Beach mass shooting. The Prime Minister confirmed that the commission will be chaired by retired Judge Virginia Bell. It will investigate the circumstances surrounding the attack, as well as broader issues of anti-Semitism and social cohesion in Australia. The inquiry is expected to deliver its final report by December this year. Albanese also revealed that a previously announced independent review into the law enforcement agencies examining whether authorities could have taken further steps to prevent the tragedy will now be folded into the Royal Commission. Now, that review, focusing on possible gaps in laws and intelligence, is scheduled to report its findings in the month of April.
Today I announced that I will be recommending to the Governor-General in an Executive Council meeting that will be held tomorrow that a Royal Commission on Anti-Semitism and Social Cohesion be established. This was endorsed by a meeting of the Federal Cabinet today. I have asked that former High Court Justice, the Honourable Virginia Bell AC, to serve as the Commissioner.
Time for a short break, but still to come on the other side. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Somnath attacks couldn't diminish the eternal faith of millions, greets all on Somnath Swabhiman Parv. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal visits Hilti Group headquarters discusses technology collaboration.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching the India News Hour. Time to quickly recap the top headlines of the hour. Venezuela's interim president Delcy Rodriguez says country is open to energy relations where all parties benefit. Senior official in Yemen's main separatist group hails productive Saudi talks, says we affirm our full support and confidence in Saudi Arabia. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar participates in first India-Weimar format meeting, says India and Europe have tremendous unrealized potential and many new areas to explore. The historic Somnath temple will resonate with chants while the skies over the Arabian Sea will light up with a mega drone spectacle as the three-day Somnath Swabhiman Parv begins. Sharing the pictures from his previous visit to Somnath on social media platform X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the visitors to share their pictures using #Somnath Swabhiman Parv. Remembering the day in January 1026, Somnath faced its first ever attack. Prime Minister Narendra Modi wrote on X that the attack and the subsequent attacks couldn't diminish the eternal faith of millions nor break the civilizational spirit that rebuilt Somnath time and again. He explained that Somnath Swabhiman Parv is about remembering the countless children of Bharat Mata who never compromised with their principles and ethos. Prime Minister Modi also shared some glimpses of a program held in Somnath on 31st of October back in the year 2001. This was the year when we marked 50 years since the rebuild of Somnath temple that opened its doors in 1951 in the presence of the then President Dr. Rajendra Prasad. The efforts of Sardar Patel, K.M. Munshi and several others were noteworthy. Dr. S. Jaishankar attended the first India-Weimar format meeting that focused on deepening India-European Union relations, assessed challenges in Indo-Pacific and focused on shared perspectives on Ukraine conflict. Here's more.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's Paris visit highlights India's growing diplomatic role. The Weimar format, which has been European only for 35 years, engaged with India in discussions for the first time. The meeting reflects India's growing strategic importance for Europe at a time of shifting global alignments and rising geopolitical challenges. Choosing Europe first to visit in this year, Dr. Jaishankar recalled France and Europe are the most important ties in global order.
Europe is such an important player in global politics. It's also necessary that India strengthen its relationship. I think we can bring more stability both into the international economy and global politics.
In the meeting earlier with French Foreign Minister was also fruitful. French Foreign Minister Noël Barrot said India's inclusion signals a deepening partnership between India and Europe. He also pointed out that the talks come at a crucial moment as a major agreement between India and Europe is currently under negotiation and is expected to be finalized in coming weeks.
India, but also between the EU and India a few days ahead of an important summit where significant agreements will be signed. I look forward to these discussions today that aim at strengthening and furthering our relationship this year, where India will be chairing the BRICS and France will be chairing the G7.
Dr. Jaishankar said the discussion with Weimar format focused on strengthening India-European Union relations and on key global issues. He said the leaders exchanged views on the Indo-Pacific region and the ongoing Ukraine conflict. He also mentioned that among India's major international partnerships, ties with the European Union offer greatest potential for expansion, with several new areas of cooperation opening up across political, strategic, and economic domains.
We may be located in different parts of the world, but despite that, perhaps even because of that, it is extremely useful for us to exchange views regularly and to share assessments.
India's participation in Weimar format highlights its expanding role in European strategic discussions, with both sides signaling stronger cooperation and tangible outcome in the near future. This meeting was a part of ongoing diplomatic dialogue, but was seen as an early engagement of the Year of Innovation. Discussions held in positive and constructive manner. This is Rohini Goswami in Paris for DD India.
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal visited the Hilti Group headquarters and met their CEO Jahangir Dungaji in Liechtenstein. They discussed technology collaboration for safer, smarter infrastructure, supported by expanding investments, rapid innovation and strong domestic capacity building. With the group's presence in India's construction sector for over 25 years, discussions focused on advancing localization, increasing value addition and scaling global shipments from India, aligned with manufacturing and export growth objectives. Commerce Minister also chaired a business roundtable with the leaders from prominent Liechtenstein companies. Piyush Goyal highlighted that the India-EFTA TIPA is not just a trade agreement, but a framework to promote investment, technology collaboration, skill development and resilient value chains. In a post on X, he said, from precision engineering and clean energy to smart infrastructure, advanced materials, digital manufacturing and financial services, the opportunities for Liechtenstein to grow together are immense. Minister also invited the businesses to engage with India, explore opportunities offered by $100 billion commitment to invest in India by EFTA nations, and make it a long-term home for their ambitions, deepening partnership and working together to unlock the full potential of India-Liechtenstein economic cooperation. Moving on, Ambassador of India to the United States, Vinay Mohan Quatra, met with the US Speaker Mike Johnson at Capitol Hill. Quatra expressed deep appreciation for his support for strengthening the bilateral relationship and thanked him for his solidarity with India's counter-terrorism efforts following the terrorist attack in Pahalgam in April 2025. Vinay Mohan Quatra also briefed him on key areas of partnership including defense and security, oil and gas trade, technology including AI, also the efforts to work towards a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial trade deal. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh attended the AI Impact Summit 2026 on artificial intelligence for capacity building and transforming the governance at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi. Speaking at the event, the minister highlighted the importance of natural intelligence as the primary operator of AI, saying that artificial intelligence must be perceived as the means and not the end result.
One has to be intelligent enough to handle artificial intelligence. If you are not, then don't. Then you run the risk of your intelligence being hijacked by artificial intelligence. What is important to learn is that AI is a medium, a means, not an end in itself. And before it ends, the natural intelligence or NI has to intervene.
Union Minister of Food Processing Industries Chirag Paswan on Thursday inaugurated the 9th edition of Indus Food Exhibition 2026 at India Expo Centre and Mart in Greater Noida. The exhibition, organised by the Trade Promotion Council of India, aims to further consolidate India's position as a trusted and competitive partner in global food supply chains. Branded as Asia's premier F&B trade show, Indus Food 2026 brings together leading Indian food producers, international buyers, and makers on a single platform to facilitate trade collaborations and long-term partnerships. India's Union Minister of Textiles, Giriraj Singh, attended the National Textiles Ministers' Conference on Thursday alongside Madhya Pradesh's Chief Minister, Mohan Yadav, and Union Minister of State for Textiles, Pabitra Margarita. Organised by the Ministry of Textiles in collaboration with the Government of Assam in Guwahati, the conference brings together textile ministers and senior officials from states and union territories across the nation. The conference aims to provide a platform for deliberations on policy, investment, sustainability, exports, infrastructure development under the theme of India's textiles, weaving growth, heritage and innovation. Vibrant Gujarat today stands as one of India's most influential global business summits. What began as a state-level investment initiative has now grown into a powerful platform connecting Gujarat with the world. Here's a look at how it all began and how far it has come.
Vibrant Gujarat was conceptualized in 2003 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was then the Chief Minister of Gujarat. The idea was to showcase Gujarat's strengths and attract investment. The early editions in 2003 and 2005 focused on ease of doing business. By 2007, Vibrant Gujarat was successfully positioning the state as a preferred investment destination, drawing participation from leading Indian and global companies.
And talking about brand Gujarat for the first time. As a result of this branding exercise that was commenced, I think the first year was 2003. And it used to happen once in 2 years. It involves sending out delegations led by industry leaders all over the world. And when industry goes and talks to industry in other areas, they have the higher credibility than the promotional tours that were being done there. So this was a novelty. Gujarat was the first. Gujarat showed the way. Gujarat demonstrated that it actually led to investments, job creation, and business development. And therefore, then it was followed by all the other states in India.
The 2009 edition marked a major turning point as Gujarat emerged as one of the most preferred investment destinations in the country. The summit gained international attention with growing participation from foreign governments, global CEOs, and financial institutions. By 2011, Vibrant Gujarat had transformed into a platform showcasing Gujarat as the growth engine of India, highlighting industrialization, urban development, and innovation. The journey continues. 2013, Gujarat positioned itself as a global business hub. 2015, the summit was themed Springboard for Global Ambitions. 2017, focus shifted to connecting India to the world through trade, investment, and technology. 2019, shaping a new India. 2024 positioned Gujarat as a gateway to the future. With continued participation from world leaders, multinational corporations, startups, and policymakers, Vibrant Gujarat continues to strengthen Gujarat's role in India's journey towards a developed nation by 2047.
Over the years, the Vibrant Gujarat Summit has evolved beyond announcements of investments and MOUs. It has also become a global forum for knowledge sharing as well as strategic partnerships. From a regional initiative to now a global reputed investors summit, Vibrant Gujarat's journey has not just been a showcase of opportunities, but also a testament, a statement of intent. With camera person Lakshman Rajput, this is Meghna Dev, 40T India from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the country in brief. Rehearsals are in full swing in Jaipur ahead of the 78th Army Day Parade, scheduled to be held on the 15th of January. Marking a historic first, the parade has taken place in a public venue outside a traditional military cantonment, showcasing Indian Army's strength and traditions to the people of Rajasthan. Aadhaar has introduced its official mascot UDAI, a friendly and approachable character designed to connect with the citizens. The initiative aims to make Aadhaar services more accessible and easier to understand, strengthening public engagement with India's trusted digital identity system. Energy Minister Kulman Khising resigned from the ministerial position by submitting his resignation to Prime Minister Sushila Karki on Wednesday evening. Now, as he has planned to join the Rashtriya Swatantra Party and focus on the upcoming parliamentary elections. The minister also confirmed his political journey will continue with the Rashtriya Swatantra Party, though no formal agreement has been finalized yet. His resignation follows Prime Minister Sushila Karki's call for ministers considering election contests to step down for neutrality. Time for a short break, but still to come on the other side. After the break, we'll get you the latest on changing weather patterns across the globe. Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul and Gautam Gambhir arrive in Patotra for ODI series against New Zealand. Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour, and now it's time to get you all the latest on changing weather patterns. In Europe, snow, ice and strong winds have brought widespread disruption for a third day, grounding the flights, stranding the passengers and cutting power as the continent struggles through its harshest cold snap this winter. Take a look.
Snow, ice and strong winds have brought widespread transport disruptions across parts of Europe for a third day, with hundreds of flights cancelled and passengers stranded. Airports in Paris and Amsterdam have been among the worst affected. At Paris Charles de Gaulle, more than 100 flights were cancelled on Wednesday, with further cancellations at Orly. In the Netherlands, Schiphol says hundreds of flights have been scrapped so far and warns the number may rise, with Dutch authorities reporting that over 1,000 travellers were forced to spend the night at the airport.
It's the third day today because I've been here since Sunday night. So,
how do you feel about that?
Horrible, to be honest. Yeah, it's so bad. I've got so many things to do. I had so many appointments cancelled, so many jobs cancelled because of that. So, but hopefully we'll make it today. I'm just finger crossed that we'll make it.
Authorities say at least 7 people have died in weather-related accidents since the cold snap set in on Monday, including fatalities reported in France and Bosnia and one in Hungary, where officials say a car skidded on ice and crashed. In Paris, fresh snowfall turned parts of the city into an impromptu winter playground, with people sliding down the steep slopes of Montmartre. But the deep freeze has been especially harsh for the city's homeless, some sleeping outdoors in tents. Rail travel has been disrupted too, including renewed delays and cancellations on Eurostar services, and in parts of the Balkans and Nordic countries, heavy snow has brought power and transport problems as severe winter conditions continue.
And we were checking the weather the last few days and we were afraid of flooding yesterday, so today we checked the local websites and it said the weather warning is only on the yellow side, so we can come here safely by car. And we really wanted to come to Mostar, so we're like, it's worth trying.
The cold snap has also hit Britain, with hundreds of schools closed for a third day across Scotland and warnings of more snow in the coming days. Bureau Report, Did India?
Australia's south sweltered through a brutal heat wave on Wednesday that delivered temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, triggering health warnings, straining power grids and causing bushfires to flare. Meteorologists said the conditions were at their worst in 6 years. The nation's Weather Bureau issued severe or extreme severe heat warnings for the states of New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia and Tasmania. On to weather updates from India. The Indian Meteorological Department, or the IMD, has issued a weather alert forecasting widespread rainfall and strong winds across Tamil Nadu and Kerala over the next few days, following the formation of a deep depression over the Bay of Bengal and the equatorial Indian Ocean. The depression is likely to move west-northwestwards across southwest Bay of Bengal during next 36 hours. At the same time, entire North India plains are under alert for cold and foggy conditions. IMD has issued orange alert for 5 states, including National Capital. Ground frost warning has been flagged for Assam, Meghalaya and parts of Uttarakhand as well. Kashmir is experiencing severe cold with weather forecasts of light rain or snowfall in higher reaches and near zero visibility caused by dense fog over the next few days. In the Kashmir Valley, the 40 days of the harshest winter known as Chilai-Kalan are living up to their reputation. You're watching Daily India News Hour and now it's time to get you all the latest action from the world of sports, to begin with cricket. Australia sealed 4-1 Ashes series victory after beating England by 5 wickets in the 5th and final test at Sydney Cricket Ground on Thursday. Earlier, England resumed day 5 at 302 for 8, leading by 119 runs and were bowled out for 342, setting Australia a target of 160. Australia chased down the target of 31.2 overs after England triggered a scare with a flurry of wickets, allowing 39-year-old Usman Khawaja to retire from Test cricket with a victory. Australia secured the Ashes by taking the first 3 tests, while England managed a consolation victory in the 4th test at Melbourne to avoid a series whitewash. Veteran Australian opener Usman Khawaja officially retired from international cricket today following a 4-1 Ashes victory over England. Playing his final test at Sydney Cricket Ground, the same venue where he debuted in 2011, Khawaja received a guard of honour and standing ovation from the crowd. The 39-year-old concludes a 15-year career with 16 test centuries and over 6,000 runs. Khawaja departs as one of the most respected figures in the test cricket format. And Indian cricketers Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul and coach Gautam Gambhir arrived in Vadodara for ODI series against New Zealand. The host team is set to play a 3-match series against the Black Caps in the format. The first match will be played on January the 11th at the BCA Stadium in Vadodara. Kohli arrived in the city of Gujarat on Wednesday. Shubman Gill returns to the India ODI setup as the captain, while Shreyas Iyer, who was injured, also made his return to the squad. Wicket-keeper batter Rishabh Pant also made his comeback in the white ball format. Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen suffered a shocking second-round match against Hong Kong's Lee Shok in the Malaysian Open in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday. Lakshya lost the match in straight sets by 20-22, 15-21. The opening game turned on Lakshya, letting a strong lead slip, failing to capitalize on Lee's early struggles in the corners as the Hong Kong shuttler mounted a composed comeback. The second was more one-sided, with Lee's endurance proving decisive and Lakshya unable to find a response. After Ayush Shetty's exit earlier, Lakshya's defeat compounds a disappointing start for India at this stage of the tournament. Sen will now head into the India Open starting the 13th of January. Moving on. The first giant panda cub born in Indonesia has completed 40 days in good health, marking a key milestone in China-Indonesia panda conservative cooperation. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.